medals in the season so far for Batini in Busan World Cup and Turin Grand Prix. Bronze medal at the Hong Kong World Cup for Martyanova. Eugene Chua to referee the bout. We're underway. Who is going to face Ueno in the women's foil Shanghai Grand Prix final? Will it be Martina Batini of Italy or Marta Martyanova, the neutral athlete? Thomas Gorell, the referee from earlier. Now, what they call an assessor, basically an assistant referee on the side of the piece, just helping with the equipment issue that Martyanova has.
Okay.
So false start to this second women's semi-final. Let's see if we can get it back up and running.
Oh. Okay. Brett. Ale. Oh, attack, no balance. On guard. Brett.
So if you want contrasted styles, you got it right here. It doesn't look like that right now, but give Martina Batini a tiny bit more time. She's one of the more attacking, aggressive, direct fencers on the circuit. Been around for a long while as well. And the way that Martyanova has been fencing today, for sure, has been based on a foundation of a solid defense. A lot of containment, a lot of frustration she's caused for her opponents. All within the rules, all allowed, different tactics. Batini just falling into a little bit of a trap there, getting too close without doing anything. Martyanova's not going to waste those opportunities.
Okay. Good. Fred. Ale. Okay. Fred.
So first attack is parried.
Okay.
And then the counter riposte on the shoulder comes from Batini, and she immediately is prepared for the fast off-the-line attack from Martyanova. Now, I understand why Batini's called for a video review here. Referee's called the attack from the left. And I think Martyanova stops for a moment. And Batini doesn't. But referee sticks with his decision. He feels that Batini did stop in her tracks. She felt she slowed but never stopped. She's a bit frustrated by that one, but no hit. Martyanova hit off target, so be thinking about that decision, though. Make sure Battini's attacks are just a little bit more fluid. Can't be as subtle. Counter block. She's been doing it all day. So she hasn't got the right of way. She attacks effectively into her opponent's attack and then blocks out. She's sort of quick with the point, gets it onto the target and then blocks out her opponent's attack. Because if that lands on target, it's her opponent's hit. Now we're seeing this attack into preparation. Seen it a couple of times now. And that's just a straight attack. So Martyanova has decided to change up her game here and thrown a little bit more aggressive tactics. Very close to Battini landing that. That's a pretty stunning distance kept from Martyanova. She didn't even want to move her feet. She just leant back to make Battini's foray miss. Can you see now the frustration I was talking about earlier on? But Battini's sighing and rolling her head and her eyes. She's not happy with the fact that it's just very difficult to hit Martyanova. Creates frustration. Part of the game that favours Martyanova. Beat attack though, finally Battini has not just upped the intensity, but she's upped the speed that she's going at, and I think that is going to play into her favour. End of the first period, and Martyanova does lead, but only by a single point, and Battini's starting to show signs that she is going to go after this one. Containment game from Martyanova. We just started to see the explosive, aggressive nature of Martina Battini, but she trails by a point in the second women's semi-final here at the Shanghai Grand Prix. Time for the second period in this women's semi-final. These two have met 3 times before. Battini leads the head-to-head by 2 fights to 1, but Martyanova won the last one at last season's Turin Grand Prix, 15-11. Martyanova, the neutral athlete, leads 4-3 as we enter the second period of this women's foil semi-final at the last Grand Prix of fencing's international season. The winner, Yuka from Japan, already through to the women's final. This match is about who she will face for Shanghai Gold. And this is the most aggressive we've seen from Martyanova all day. Batini gets the counter-attack, and that's a counter-block from her. Now, this is playing into Batini's game for me. Martyanova, I think, is making a tactical mistake here, and will the coach call her off? Well, it's been called for Batini. My gut was that it was Martyanova's, and she feels it was as well. We saw Batini lose one that I thought would have been hers earlier on. Yeah, it does still feel to me. So beat made, and Eugene Chua says you stop. And that's why right of way goes to Batini. And just like that, the fight's turned around. See how quickly these top fencers adapt to a change of tactics from their opponent. As soon as Martyanova came out for the second period and started to go on the attack, Batini took advantage because that is her game. That's how she likes to play it. Batini got a couple of hits ahead, and Martyanova just slowed down that little bit. She's still being pretty aggressive, but she's not going at it like she was right at the beginning of this period. Well, we're still getting this spurious white light coming up from Martyanova, and that's why Eugene Chua just stopped the fight. Oscar out. Knows his way around some fencing equipment. A lot of these referees, coaches in their home countries. Thomas is one, runs a club, so he'll know how to check weapons and find out what the problem is. They were prepared to change the body wire, but it worked out it was the weapon itself, and so Martyanova has a new one in hand. Defenders will have 5, 6 in their bags, all weighted the same way. or as close to each other as possible.
Oh, attack the balance.
The battle resumes. 7-7.
Break. Allez.
Still hard to call, but on the form of this season, still fancy Batini for this one.
Oh, attack. Touche. Point.
So, slow and steady attack from Batini, and she re-establishes the lead. Now does Martyanova come out? Oh, Batini's teasing her, luring her. She immediately wants to replace the weapon that she brought in. Could be loose, could not be quite set up correctly for her. She gets another one, perfectly allowed, won't get penalised for it.
Okay.
So weapon number 3
Break.
for Martyanova.
Allez. Oh, attack. Touche. Point. Okay.
Picked up the moment, picked up the timing.
Attack. Touche. Point. Okay. Break. Allez. Oh, attack.
Now, why would you fence defensively all day and save your attacking flair for the final? Well, I'll tell you why, because then it comes as a surprise. Martyanova has maintained her energy levels by really fencing with her defensive wit all day today.
Okay.
Pinned into her half of the piece most of the day today. But she's made it through to the gold medal match, and now she's showing us the other side of her game.
Oh. We step on the thing. Okay. Break. Allez. Oh, preparation. Attack to the match to the left. Okay. Break. Allez. Oh, attack behind before snow. We missed the button. Okay. Break. Allez. Oh. Okay. Okay, s'il vous plaît. Okay.
One of the things that we've seen today, particularly with
Luca. Martinova.
Martyanova, is
Là, s'il vous plaît.
her opponents saying to the referees they don't want them to call halt so early, because Martyanova has this, a game plan where she tries to spoil the fight. If she's being attacked, she kind of jumps in and closes the distance up. But just because this close distance doesn't mean that the referee has to call halt. As long as he or she can see weapons being wielded, and they've done so safely, then what opponents have worked out is how to hit Martyanova in close quarters. And if they're not given the time to use it because the referee calls halt so quickly, it's a problem for them.
1 minute.
It takes away a weapon. Second period of this women's foil semi-final over, and Batini does have the lead, but it's only by 2 points. So yeah, back to that point that if a referee calls halt too early against Martyanova, it takes away a weapon for her opponent, which is they know that she's going to close the distance, so they've trained close quarters fighting. And it was interesting there that Eugene Chua from Singapore did call halt quite early when they got into close quarters, but then immediately explained to Batini, I called halt because you stood on a weapon, and she accepted it straight away. And might see that coming in as a feature here. No, Eugene Chouard is a very, very good referee, and he is not going to call halt unnecessarily. If this continues to go the way it's going, where Martyanova is closing the distance and getting into the fight more than she's done before, that close quarters hitting is going to become an important tool for Martina Batini. Third and final period of this women's foil semi-final at the Shanghai Grand Prix of 2026. Martyanova, neutral athlete, trails the Italian Batini by 10 points to 8. So given as a beat attack from the left, didn't hit. So Batini gets the counter-attack to open up a 3-point lead. Batini, disgusted with herself. She set up that hit, made the attack miss from the left-hand side, and then dived in with the counter-attack. And it was the execution that let her down. You could see the idea from Batini. She was luring Martyanova in. She wanted to do counter block here, or block counter if nothing else, and she kind of pulled out of both. And that gave a freebie to Martyanova. Impressive gameplay from the neutral athlete. To save all her attacking, pretty much all of her attacking for the semi-finals is impressive, brave, and very, very disciplined. To stick to that game plan throughout the day. Play the defensive role and make it through. Let's not forget she's made it through to the semi-finals. And then to unleash the attack is pretty cool. Remains to be seen if it's going to work. Just every time you see an off-target from Batini, you feel the frustration build. Great late parry riposte there. Martyanova just leaving that parry as late as possible. Now counter riposte. And now I think that could stand. Referee's going to go and have a look at the video here. Referee had called halt, but it looked to me to be a compound riposte from Martyanova, and it was one action. So even though the referee had called halt, it is given. It is given. Because it was one single flowing movement. And just like that, it's all square. Well, if Batini wasn't frustrated before, she will be now. Para riposte for the right for me. Para riposte for Eugene Chua. So Batini's just done to Martyanova what the neutral athlete's been doing to her throughout this fight. Step in, lure the attack, para riposte. Again, one of those frustrating ones. Batini got the right of way. This time it was an execution issue rather than anything else, because Martyanova made itself awkward to hit. Batini has the right of way, has the blade here, picks it up a second time, but the counter block and the movement of the body and the hand from Martyanova is what fashioned that hit. So frustrating for Batini. Referee's called this off target from the left-hand side. And he sticks with that decision, so Batini wastes a video referral. Got to be careful, Batini. Got to commit to the attack. That's a little lackluster for me. That's better. That is much better. Oh, Batini tastes a place in this final now. She needs to be careful. She doesn't attack from one step too far out. Looked like that was her case that time. Yeah, attack, parry, riposte is no. In fact, a second beat of the blade potentially, I heard. There you go. Confirmation. It was a counter parry riposte of sorts. Second intention. Change beat attack. I think there might have been a bit of dancing on the blade here before the attack came, and I heard at least 2 meetings of the blade. The referee's decided to go and have a look at this one of his own volition. I can understand why. Here we go. No, given a straight attack for Batini. And a 15-12 victory in the end. The favourite, in my eyes, has made it through, but it was far from easy. Martina Batini of Italy, world number 3, goes into the gold medal match here in Shanghai, where she'll face the world number 4. Martyanova's coach going to congratulate Batini, but he also seems to have said something that's rubbed her up the wrong way. Matters not. Martina Batini of Italy, 15-12 victory.